140 years. That is how long Canada waited, across two failed World Cup campaigns in 1986 and 2022, to earn a single point at a FIFA World Cup. 0 wins, 0 draws, not one solitary point. And on Friday night at BMO Field in Toronto, with their captain already on the physio table before a ball was kicked, they had to claw it back from a goal down against a Bosnia and Herzegovina side that had absolutely no intention of giving anything away. But here's the thing, they did it. And they did it thanks to one substitute who needed just 121 seconds to become a national hero. So who really controlled this match? Was this genuinely historic, or a wake-up call wrapped in celebration? Stay with me, because we are breaking it all down right now. Welcome to SoccerVault, the channel that covers every World Cup moment you need to know about. 3 times a day, every single day. I am your host, and we are going deep on Canada versus Bosnia and Herzegovina. Let's break this down. Before a single boot touched the turf at BMO Field on Friday evening, the atmosphere in Toronto was electric and complicated. Canada arrived at this tournament as co-hosts, carrying the dreams of an entire country on their shoulders. But they are not just the sentimental favorites on home soil. They have built a genuinely competitive squad over the last 5 years, one that reached these finals on merit. The expectation was real. The pressure was enormous. And then the injury news dropped, and everything shifted. Alphonso Davies, Bayern Munich's world-class left-back, Canada's captain, the heartbeat of their entire system, was ruled out with a thigh injury sustained in training. Gone. Before a single whistle had been blown in Group B. For context, Davies is not just Canada's best player. He is the player around whom Jesse Marsch's entire tactical structure is built. His pace on the overlap, his ability to drive forward from left back and essentially create a 3-4-3 shape in possession. All of it vanished overnight. Bosnia and Herzegovina, meanwhile, arrived as the dark horse of Group B. They qualified through a tough UEFA path. They are physically imposing, and they are devastating from set pieces. Coach Sergei Barbares set them up to be compact, aggressive, and clinical on the counter. This was always going to be a bruising, attritional contest. And for 78 long, anxious minutes, Bosnia were winning it. Picture the scene. Home crowd. 80,000 people packed into BMO Field, co-host nation, the weight of history on every shoulder. And within 21 minutes, Bosnia and Herzegovina take the lead, and it is entirely Canada's own fault. Sead Kolasinac, veteran left-back and one of Bosnia's most experienced campaigners, delivered a textbook set piece into the area. Jovo Lukić peeled away at the back post, got a run on his marker, and nodded the ball home with real authority. The stadium fell silent. It was a reckless piece of defensive marking from Canada. Zonal defending with a gap at the back post the size of a truck. And Bosnia exploited it with clinical, cold-blooded precision. Here is what troubled me watching that goal. It was not even a particularly great delivery. It was a good one, yes. But Canada's defensive structure broke down completely. The zonal marking scheme left Lukić with a free run. At this level, against this quality of opponent, that simply cannot happen. And the ripple effect on Canadian confidence was immediate. Passes went astray. Runs were mistimed. The crowd grew nervous. Bosnia sat deep, defended their lead, and looked entirely in control. The rest of the first half was uncomfortable viewing for Canadian fans. Bosnia blocked every attempted combination. Jesse Marsch's side struggled to manufacture clear-cut chances, and the team looked exactly what they were. A side missing their talisman, scrambling for an attacking identity they hadn't rehearsed without him. Marsch clearly read Canada the riot act at halftime. The second half was a completely different match. 3 things changed from the first whistle of the second half. Canada's pressing intensity doubled, their wide players began driving directly into the box rather than playing it safe, and the BMO Field crowd found their voice again and started pushing the team forward. And the pressure nearly told in spectacular and agonizing fashion. Cyle Larin, surging down the right flank, cut inside and sent a drilled, low finish underneath Bosnian goalkeeper Nikola Vasili. It looked in. The crowd erupted. And then, said Kolasinac, the same man who had set up Bosnia's opening goal at the other end, was there at the back post, hooking the ball onto the crossbar and away from danger. The stadium went from celebration to disbelief in half a second. Officially, it hit the crossbar. Every Canadian fan in that ground still believes it crossed the line. The replays were inconclusive enough that we will be arguing about that moment for years. No VAR intervention was called. Bosnia survived, and the clock kept ticking. Still 1-0. Still Bosnia. The tension inside BMO Field was unbearable. With 12 minutes remaining, Jesse Marsch threw on Cyle Larin from the bench. Not a marquee name on the world stage, not a player whose face is on billboards or whose transfer fees make headlines in the global media, but a striker with 31 international goals for Canada, a relentless work ethic, and an ice-cold composure in front of goal. And then, at 78 minutes, the moment Canada had been waiting 40 years for. 121 seconds. That is the amount of time Larin spent on the pitch before connecting with a precisely worked team move and sliding the ball home to make it 1-1. Less than 2 full minutes as a substitute. The delivery was perfect, the run was perfectly timed, and the finish was exactly what Canada needed. Calm, precise, ruthless. BMO Field exploded. Toronto erupted. The entire country went wild. Cyle Larin became only the second Canadian player in history, after their own captain, to score at a FIFA World Cup. He did it in the fastest possible way a substitute can do anything meaningful. And he did it when everyone, the players, the fans, the country, needed it most. This is what the World Cup is for. These moments. Write his name down. Now here is my hot take, and I want genuine pushback in the comments because I know you will disagree with me. This draw is not enough for Canada. Yes, it is their first ever World Cup point. Yes, it is emotionally historic. Yes, the Larin moment will be replayed for decades. But this is a co-host nation. They are playing in front of their home crowd, and they just dropped 2 points against a Bosnia side that, with the greatest respect, they should be beating at a home World Cup. The Davies absence is the elephant in the room that nobody wants to talk about directly. Canada's entire system is built around his ability to operate as an attacking fullback in a back four that becomes a back three in possession. Without him, they were tactically compromised from the first whistle. Marsch has a serious decision to make. Does he reinvent the system for the next match, or does he stay loyal to the structure and hope Davies returns in time? Getting that call wrong will cost Canada dearly. And let us not pretend the defensive display was acceptable. Conceding from a set piece in the 21st minute, nearly conceding a second from another corner shortly after. These are issues that will be brutally exposed if Canada face a more clinical attacking side. Improvement is needed, urgently. Where does Group B stand right now? Canada sit on 1 point. Bosnia and Herzegovina sit on 1 point. Qatar and Switzerland face each other later today, June 13th, and that result will reshape this group completely. If Switzerland win, as most expect, they go to 3 points and put serious pressure on everyone else. If Qatar pull off a shock, the group is blown wide open. Either way, Canada cannot afford to drop any more points. Their next fixtures, Canada versus Qatar and Bosnia versus Switzerland, are must-see television. Keep an eye on the Davies situation over the next 48 hours. If he returns, Canada are a different side. If he misses the next match too, Marsh will need to find answers fast. The World Cup waits for nobody, not even the hosts. That is your SoccerVault Update A. Canada won, Bosnia and Herzegovina won, and a moment that will live in the history of Canadian soccer forever. Cyle Larin, 121 seconds, iconic. If you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button right now and subscribe to SoccerVault. We post 3 daily updates throughout the entire World Cup, so you never miss a moment. And drop your take in the comments below. Is this draw enough for Canada, or are they already in danger without Alphonso Davies? I genuinely want to hear what you think. See you at the next update. Don't go anywhere.